Okay, so for today's project, I'm going to be using my Cricut Joy Extra. You can use any of the Cricut machines. I'm going to be using my Easy Press 2 to apply my HTV, but you could also use an Easy Press Mini if you wanted to do that. I have my heat resistant mat, a Teflon sheet. This is a pressing pillow that I'm going to put up underneath my canvas when I go to apply my HTV. But you could also use just a towel. If you have a rolled up towel, you could do that. That would work just as well. I have my weeding tools, my brayer, standard grip mat, black and red HTV, whatever colors you choose to use. That's what I'm going to be using for this project. So what I did was I just took, this is just a canvas that I got from the Dollar Tree. It cost me $1.25. And I used some acrylic paint with a little sponge brush and got my grandson's hands covered in blue paint and made some little handprints. And this is what it turned out like. Now, the crafter in me wants to clean up these little edges because there's some extra paint on it, but the grandma in me says, no, we don't want to do that. We want to leave it just the way it is. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be adding the HTV here and also up here and a little heart in the middle. With this project, if you guys decide to do this, if your little one doesn't like the paint on their hands, please don't force them to do it. Sensory issues are real, so I just wanted to put that out there. If they don't like it, don't make them do it. There's always opportunities down the road that you can do it. But I'm going to go ahead and make this for my daughter for Mother's Day. So Tessa, if you're listening, turn your head, don't look. This is your gift. You also could put their age on here. I had thought about doing that at first, but then I decided, no, I'm just going to write it on the back. So I have the date that I actually did the project, did his little handprints with his age on there. But this is what we're going to be doing today. So let's go ahead and jump into Design Space, and I'll show you how to get your project sized, get it cut, and put it all together. Okay, so here we are inside of Design Space, and this is the way that your SVG looks when it lands on your canvas. What I did here with my design, I always like to explain why I do things. I'm going to go ahead and ungroup this. This is just an extra heart if you wanted to use it, and the reason that I added this one in is I gave you the little black outline here. So if you wanted to use this one instead of that one, you could, or you could just use the open heart. That's up to you, but that's why I added it in there, but I'm not going to use it, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So this, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a shape to represent the size of the canvas that I have. So obviously whatever size canvas you're using or whatever you're putting it on, you're going to want to, what I did was after I got my grandson's handprints, I took a picture of the canvas and then I made sure that I uploaded that to my screen, and then I arranged this on top of that. Actually, let me go ahead and show you. Okay, so I just brought this in. Obviously, it's going to look huge when you bring a picture in. Now, all I did was I took a picture with my phone, I emailed it to myself, and then I saved it, and then I just brought this in just like you would a PNG image. I just brought this in like a print and cut. But I'm going to go ahead and take this shape right here, and the size of my canvas is 8 by 6. Okay, I'm going to lock this. And I'm going to take this and turn this into a guide. Now this is an easy way that you can get, let me send this to the back, your canvas to make sure that you're going to have your project the right size. Now I'm just going to line this up with my shape here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but obviously you want to try and get it as close as you can. Okay, and then, now it's telling me that it's too big. Don't worry about this because we're not going to print it anyway. This is just for visual. Okay. Let me bring this to the front so it's easier to move, and I'm going to ungroup this. Okay, so now this I'm going to have over here. So now you know if you need to resize it, make it bigger, make it smaller. And also with this, if you look over here on the layers panel, I have not attached this. And the reason that I didn't attach it is, let's say, I mean obviously when you go to get handprints, your toddler is going to do whatever they want to do, or whoever you're getting the handprints of, it's going to be really difficult to get them in a perfect shape. So I left this ungrouped, so that way if you need to move, let me show you here. Let's say you've got a hand over here and you really don't want to put vinyl on top of it. So if you need to move this up here and just move your words around, you can. It's whatever looks best for you, but that's why I left it ungrouped. Okay, so because it is ungrouped, I want mine to cut just the way that it is. I'm going to go ahead and hit the attach button. So now this is all going to cut out together. Now as for the heart, I'm going to put this right in the center of my little hands here. I just think it's a cute little idea. I'm going to actually turn it sideways, but that doesn't matter for when you're cutting it. The only reason I'm mentioning the heart is if you need to resize that. So same thing, if your hands are too close together, you need to make this smaller. Be aware though, with this heart, I did it in like a scribble effect. So when you go to weed it, you have all those little pieces that you need to take out. So if you go much smaller than what it is right now, you actually may want to contour some of these out. So you could actually just hide all contours, and now you don't have as many lines in there to weed. That's totally up to you. That's personal preference. I didn't really think it was that hard to weed out all these little pieces, but a lot of people don't like to do that. So that's just an option for you. Okay, so now that you know the reason why I did what I did, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to actually hide this because we don't need that. I'm going to actually, well, actually, you know what? Let's bring that back in there. So I'm going to type in my grandson's name. You can use whatever text that you like. I'm going to go ahead and find the font that I used for this one. This is called Love Quinn, I believe. It is a font that you can purchase from font bundles, but if you have Cricut Access, it's also a font that's included with their Cricut Access. So let's go ahead and type in Love Quinn, and this is it right here. Okay, and then just size it to what looks good for you. I'm going to change this to black. Kind of get it right around the same size as this word right here. Okay. Now you don't have to put a name on there if you want to. I kind of played with doing the name and his year, like how old he is, how many months. But I think what I'm going to do is just do his name, and then on the back of it I'll just write his age. But you know, again, whatever you want to do. But I'm not going to attach this to this down here because this is going to be easy to place when I get to that part of my project. So now I'm going to go ahead and hide this, and I want to save this. Okay, and I'm going to be using my Cricut Joy Extra, and just keep in mind this grid right here, this what we made the guide, that's not going to print, or not going to cut, I should say. That's just for placement. So we would go ahead and hit make, and remember that we are going to be using HTV, so we need to mirror our design. You can also, if you don't want to mirror it over here, you could flip it on the other screen. I'll show you what I mean here. You could just take all of this and come up here and flip it, and now you don't have to worry about mirroring it. Okay, so now it's already mirrored. I don't have to worry about hitting that mirror button, but I do want to move my HTV around because I'm somebody who likes to save time, and I'm going to go ahead and move object and put it on this mat over here. So now I need to make sure that I have a piece of red vinyl right here, and this is all going to be black up here. Okay, continue, and I'm going to be using Everyday Iron-On for cutting out my vinyl. If you don't have these up here, you can go to Browse All Materials, type in, actually you can see it right here, Everyday Iron-On, that's what I'm going to be using. But if you have something different, you can scroll through here to see all the different vinyls that you can use for your setting. But I'm going to be using Everyday Iron-On. I'm going to get that cut out, and I'll show you how to get this all put together. All right, I have my HTV on my mat. I've got its shiny side down. My brayer, and help push down your vinyl. This helps for better cuts from your machine. Go ahead and get this loaded, and we'll get it cut. All right. I've got it all cut here. I'll go ahead and remove the vinyl. Okay. Now I wanted to show you with this heart what I was talking about with the little tiny pieces. The size that it is right now, I don't think that it's too bad, but if you have a hard time weeding small pieces, you could use that contour feature to get rid of those extra little slices in there. If you turn your head to the side, it's easier to see the vinyl pieces that you need to weed. You could also use, I've seen people, and I've actually done it myself, you can use a lint roller to help you weed if you can't pick up those little pieces. This is where a pin pen comes in handy too. This is just a pen with a little needle on it. I'm sure many of you that are following along know how to weed, but I know when I first started, I had the hardest time trying to figure out how to separate the carrier sheet from the vinyl. And then finally saw somebody take their weeding tool, poke it in, and pull back. That way you're pulling up the vinyl from the carrier sheet. And then you can just pull. Obviously with HTV it's easier to weed, but you still want to be careful. Okay, and you want to make sure you turn it over, make sure you got all your little bits, and get those extra pieces of vinyl off of there. You don't want those on there. Okay, I have all my vinyl weeded. I'm going to be using my Easy Press 2, and you just turn it on, and according to the heat guide from Cricut, which if you have not seen the heat guide, I'll leave a link for that on the blog post. This needs to be 340 degrees. For 30 seconds. So we're going to let that warm up. Set that aside right over here. And we're going to go ahead and I'll show you, you can use your pressing mat or your pressing pillow for underneath this so that it has better pressure when you push down on it. Okay, and I've already trimmed down my HTV, but just keep in mind that if you're going to press them at the same time, I have an extra piece back here, I need to make sure to get that off of there. If you're going to push it at the same time, to use it all at the same time, make sure that your pieces are trimmed down, because you don't, if it overlaps, this is going to stick together. Your two carrier sheets will stick together, and you obviously don't want to do that. So this I'm going to put here, and you can use heat resistant tape if you feel comfortable doing that. So that's going to go there. This little heart's going to go right in here. So you can see they're not touching. And his name, I'm going to put right up in here. Now this is one of those projects that is personal preference. You do however you like. I actually thought about doing his name like in multiple colors, doing, you know, like yellow, red, blue, but I decided just to leave it black. And I don't want to cover up his fingerprints. So actually I am going to get some heat resistant tape to help that stick down. Just because I'm going to press it all at the same time and I don't want it to shift. That little sound means that my heat press is ready. Okay, and I'm going to put my Teflon sheet over top of this. Okay, and we're going to press this for 30 seconds. I'm actually going to lift it before 30 seconds because I'm afraid it's going to get too hot. Just want to check it to make sure. It just makes me nervous. Okay. All right, that's pressing good. I'm going to do just a little bit longer. I don't feel like it needs the full 30 seconds. If this was clothing, I think I would do it a little bit longer. So let's just see how that looks. Make sure you pull it up really slow. You don't want to lose any of your little pieces there. See, this one still needs a little bit more time. So we're just going to go on that one little spot right there. All right, there it is. I hope you guys like this week's project. I would love to see them if you guys make them. You know I love seeing what you guys make. Please come on over to the Facebook group and show it off. It makes my heart happy seeing what you guys make with the freebies that I give you. You can find this week's free SVG in the freebie library. It is design number 202, along with the name of the font that I used and the link to where you can find it if you don't have Cricut access. That's it, guys. I hope you guys like it. Like I said, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I love when you guys follow along. I post a new freebie every week, whether it is a project or just a free SVG file. I would love to have you guys follow along with my crafting journey. I love having crafting friends. Come over to the Facebook group and join along, like I said. But have a great day, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here.